We are Haemopharm Healthcare, an Italian company. We are manufacturers of medical devices and flexible bags for many applications since the 70s. We are further to manufacturing as main activity. We also greatly invest in research and development of drug delivery systems, most of them patented, among the companies, many other patents and products, of course. Well, I'm here to introduce to you NIV, which stands for Needleless Injection Vial. NIV is the first needle-free system of connection between a vial and a syringe with no intermediates. To make it clearer, it looks like this. We can see a syringe with a solution, a diluent, and a vial with an active principle, and nothing between them, sorry. No needle, no adapter. So NIV is a new closure for glass vial for any vial containing active principles, which are mostly sold as freeze-dried or lyophilized drugs, which need to go through reconstitution, mixing, or transfer of the active principle to then be administered to the patient. It has a hermetic seal with a needleless site on the seal, which is perforable with a needle-free syringe, which automatically recloses as soon as the syringe is pulled out. Regarding the existing systems on the market today, it can replace both normal syringe used with needle and a standard vial, and the most common needle-free connectors, adapters, which are mounted on the vials to then be used with syringe with no needle. So this is what it is going to replace on the market. The rubber top on the vial closure is the main innovation of what I'm presenting. The rubber top on vials in general have the main task of protecting the vial contents from outside contamination. The needles usually pierce the rubber top in order to access the medication. And all this activity, the drawing up medication out of a vial, needs to be properly done. We need to follow a proper procedure in order to avoid contamination to the patient and also give the right dosage, which is very important. Well, it needs to be not only secure for the patient, but also for the caregiver. And by caregiver, I mean nurse, doctor, any hospital staff, personnel, which needs to be handling this device, this activity. So it needs to avoid the backflow or aerosol effect that can occur in the case of some specific drugs, most of all some toxic oncology drugs, as an example. So here we can see the tradition, syringe with needle accessing a regular vial, a standard vial, the aerosol effect when drawing the syringe out of the vial, and no aerosol with no needle. So why is it really so good? First of all, the material we are using, it is in compliance with USP Class 6, which is the most strict USP class. It is innovative. It has no elastic memory, which allows the hermetically reclosable seal, which I'll explain. And it is also in compliance with all the needle-free policies. The cost is competitive, it's effective, not only for this innovative material, but also the absence of any other item, such as the needle or the vial adapter, saves the cost of the total material for the therapy. May I add on this point, not an economical aspect, but it is also more sustainable. Let's just think that we are saving plastic and metal, not using further material. It is very important these days. Custom-made, not only standard rubber tops for standard vials, but also it is possible in this case to provide custom-made, personalized NIV systems for special requests for custom-made requirements. Sorry. Do you hear me okay? So, Hermetic closure. This is a mechanically and microbiologically closed system during and after multi-use. Therefore, it can be used for multiple mixing of many drugs, and also if the syringe needs to access the same vial a few times, completely maintaining the flexible and hermetic capacities of the seal. No training required. I would like to emphasize this point since it's very important. This is a new system, but basing on completely common use, on simple methods. Anyone who could ever be able to use a syringe with a needle can perfectly use this one. We take off the syringe, the needle, and we use it with the vial. So it requires no investment in personnel, training, time, which is very important, and cost. It is universal. The ease of use of devices today is extremely important, most of all because reconstitution, mixing, transfer, and administration to the patient have to be simple in order to give the correct dose and avoid any further unpleasantness or pain to the patient. Furthermore, the consideration of the user experience, and by user, again, I mean or the patient in home care or the caregiver in hospitals and clinics. So the consideration of user experience and the interface with drug delivery devices will continue to have a significant and growing success if the device is friendly, is user-friendly, if it's effective in order to build patient preference and loyalty. So further to technical advantages, let's see some practical ones. Needle-free, as I said, it's more secure, avoiding needle sticks, which can cause major damage to the caregiver. And mainly for this reason, needle-free systems are becoming much more popular in the market today, and it's only an asset to be aligned with market tendencies. Aerosol and backflow. The immediately reclosable seal avoids the backflow effect, which can be cause major damage, and it avoids the leakage of unwanted substances in case of some toxic drugs, which can harm the nurse or the patient. I would also like to add a point regarding the needle-free and the aerosol, which in any case of a mistake, let's say that a nurse does not know the system and uses a needle instead of not using a needle, nothing bad happens except for the maybe harm done by the needle, which is a practicality of the nurse. But the hermetically reclosable seal can completely stand this kind of perforation. It is in any case reclosable and sealed, also in case of perforation with a needle, in case it happens. Reduce foam and air bubbles and medication waste. It is a known fact that during the insertion of a liquid inside a vial, you all know vials, glass vials, which are very small content. During the insertion of liquid inside this, due to the pressure of the liquid, a layer of foam is formed, in some drugs more than others. This layer of foam impedes the full dose to exit the vial while extracting the medication or while administration, bringing to a more frequent administration to the patient in order to finally arrive to the correct dose, to give the correct dose to the patient. This not only causes much inconvenience to the patient, which has to go through a multiple administration, but it's also a waste of active principle because it stays unused as foam inside the vial and thrown away as a disposable. Many pharmaceutical companies often overfill the vials up to 30% of the required dose in order to be able to give the patient the correct dose. And let's just think that some vials like this in the market cost up to hundreds and even thousands of euros for some specific drugs. So let's just imagine 5 or 10 or 20% of this just being thrown away. Not only the money, but also the active principle, which is very expensive and hard to produce. So the NIV permits a greater reconstitution, not only for the greater diameter of the syringe while inserting the liquid into the vial, which creates less foam or none, permitting the full reconstitution of the dose to the patient. Also, it is easier due to the shorter tip of the syringe to extract the full amount of drug, of reconstituted drug, instead of the syringe, which takes more time, it's longer, and it's harder to extract the full dose. This also, by the way, accelerates much the procedure to the caregiver, since the extraction is faster, all the reconstitution is faster, and we all know that the personnel in the hospital has very precious time to act and to attend all patients. Well, last but not least point, the first perforation of the NIV is identified by a click sound. This is a very important mechanism while mixing many medications, or if the syringe needs to access the vial a few times. This click sound identifies the first use, and it ensures the integrity of the vial for the first use. Maybe if the nurse uses and goes and comes back, she can know it's been used. Important. So this is graphically the foam formed with the needle, no foam with no needle. May I approach the jury just to show how it works? So to summarize these advantages, let's go over a few quick keywords. First of all, secure, as I said, in the absence of a needle, in the absence of aerosol and leakage and backflow effect. It's more secure to the patient and to the caregiver. Faster. The whole procedure is it's shorter. It saves time for the nurses in the hospital. Dose, less failure due to suboptimal dose, very, very important. And cost, which is competitive, effective. So why is it really so unique after all I said? Well, drugs in vials are increasingly used in drug delivery for many applications. I've named cancer treatment, antibiotics, clinical nutrition, any drug that is used in vial and are injectable. It is very valuable for many pharmaceutical players, for pharmaceutical companies who fill the vial, for hospitals and clinics who buy them, who purchase them for the use, and finally for the user, which is the patient or the nurse and the doctor, all the caregivers. It is aligned with the market tendency of moving towards a needle-free technology. And may I add, it can be used with any medication used in vial, not only glass vials, but also plastic vials, and not only powder, as we've seen as an example, but also liquids and gels. This is how the little wonder really looks like. This is the main innovation. So this is an innovative product, basing and combining two existing principles into a new one, creating a completely safe environment in the absence of the needle, but strictly maintaining the sterility of the process with a hermetical seal and avoiding any contamination to the vial's contents. It actually offers a very important, small but very important variation to an existing product, which is the vial. Okay, but this variation does not require any change, any critical change to pharmaceutical companies' existing manufacturing products. It actually gives an added value, an upgrade to an existing product. Or, as we see it, this is an innovation. Innovation is an alternative with no alternatives. Any questions?
Okay, excellent presentation, thank you.
Thank you.
What kind of material is the closure?
This is innovative material. Yes, it's
no rubber?
It's from thermoplastics family of materials.
Okay, that was my question. Thank you. Any more questions?
Thank you for the presentation. This is the completely new system, so are you aware of any disadvantages maybe?
Well, disadvantages, actually there is one, if I have to be completely honest. This seal cannot be used with lure lock syringe, but lure lock syringes are not as popular as standard syringe, and furthermore they have a higher cost, the lure lock syringe, comparing to standard syringe. So actually we see it as an advantage, since it can force the hospital to use standard syringe, saving a cost. Any other question?
You said that the material is different from standard rubber, so you should notify. The change of material should be notified.
Yes.
To authorities.
Yes, it is, as I said, it is USP Class 6 certified.
Yes, but you change the kind of your container.
Yes.
And you should notify and... okay.
Yes, yes, it is okay. Totally in compliance with everything.
Okay.
Works. So how does it close hermetically and how does it open?
It is the special features of the material that completely seal the syringe while entering the seal, the rubber top. It's completely hermetical while penetrating the seal, and completely hermetical, closes immediately as soon as the syringe is pulled out. This is tested. Yes? Would you like to see it again?
Yeah.
It's hermetically closed. I cannot prove it right now. This is tested. Sorry? I cannot hear you.
How is it sterilized?
How is it sterilized? Maybe this is a question I cannot answer. Can I know how is it sterilized? By? Steam, by steam.
It's as usual like a rubber stop?
Yes. As I said, manufacturing process is standard. It does not require any change to the existing procedures.
At what stage you are, like at a commercial stage or at the lab stage where established?
It has gone through the last testing, and now it is going to start being marketed.
Okay, all the formats you are going with, like Lyo or a liquid and other things, because it's a Lyo vial and you have a...
Yes, as I said, it is custom made.
It's a custom.
For any further question, we are in booth 10H63. You can come visit us.
Yeah, that was also my question regarding commercialization. So you already started the commercialization of this vials, only with this lyophilized or also with liquids in the vials?
It is still on stage of pre-commercialization. It is not yet available on the market because it is completely new.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Any other questions? I want to close this presentation. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for your attention.